Hello everyone, it is Thursday at 12:30 Eastern Time, and that means it's time for First Chapter Fun. So Facebook seems to be playing, Instagram seems to be playing, so let's not get too ahead of ourselves and cry victory just yet, but certainly I seem to be live on Facebook and on Instagram, which is fantastic. And I see people joining. We have Hank, of course, and Glennie and Jen. Oh, thank you, Hank. This is an old cardigan. I thought I'll wear blue today because, I don't know, because it's windy and nasty outside. So this is my little ray of blue sky. AR Mummy has joined on Instagram. I see Shannon on Facebook as well. So welcome to First Chapter Fun. 12:31. You should see my setup. I have a dictionary with a tripod and my phone, and then I have the webcam with Facebook and my phone with Instagram. Then I have my ring light, because everyone's gonna have a ring light right here, and that means I have to duck and see to see if everything's working. So high tech I am not, but I am here. So welcome, good morning Beth, good morning Glennie, also on Facebook. Hi Deb, it's so lovely to see you all. Absolutely wonderful that you are all joining. If this is the first time you've caught an episode of First Chapter Fun, well, do I have news for you. This is episode 109. That's right, boys and girls, episode 109. How cool is that? First Chapter Fun started back in March during the first wave of COVID. Let's not talk about COVID. And with Hank, I teamed up in May, and this has been continuing twice a week. So every Tuesday and every Thursday, the days with a T, Hank and I both read the first chapter of a different book, not ours, well, not necessarily, but generally not ours, at 12:30 Eastern Time. And someone's just arrived at the door. Let's see if one of my kids goes and opens it. So all of the episodes, the previous 108 episodes, have all been saved on our Facebook, which is First Chapter Fun. That's the group First Chapter Fun. If you go to, in the new Facebook, if you go to media videos, they are all there. You'll see them all. And on Instagram, they're all under our IGTV. So you could watch 108 episodes if you choose. There you go. You don't need Netflix anymore. Cancel that subscription. Hank and I have got you covered. 108 episodes. So before I get into introducing you to our brilliant author today, let me just do one quick technical thing. Well, I'm not going to do a technical thing. I'll warn you about a technical thing. Sometimes Instagram and Facebook or Facebook cut us off. We don't know why, it just happens. So if that happens, I will come back to the platform that booted me out. If we can't get back on, we will post the video. Hopefully we'll have it either on Instagram or on Facebook, but we will do something. We will try and get it back, because sometimes in the connection can be a bit dodgy. Sometimes they just don't like what we're doing. I don't know. They just chuck us out. Hasn't happened for a while. So let's see. All right, so here we are, episode 109, and I am really excited to introduce you to today's author, who I just spotted on Instagram. It is the one and only Laurie R. King, author of Riviera Gold, which we are going to be reading from today, but also of a multitude of other novels. I'm not even going to try and rattle them off because I will fail, but I will read the bio, of course, for Laurie, and introduce you, if you don't know Laurie already, to her work, and then read the first chapter of Riviera Gold. And I can't wait. I'm so excited to read this for you. This is brilliant. So that was my son just walking in, leaving a note for his dad. Never a dull moment. So Let me just check if we have any. Oh gosh, we have lots and lots of comments. We have Jamie who's joined. Jamie is the keeper of our list on Facebook, well actually on Goodreads. So if you want to know which books we've read from, there are a couple of ways of doing that. On Instagram, you go to IGTV, to the archive. On Facebook, you can also go to the video archive, just media videos, or you can go to the announcements right at the top of the Facebook group. There's an announcement with all of the reads thus far with a link to each of them, so that's dead easy. But Jamie Harrigan, the lovely, lovely Jamie Harrigan, has set up a list on Goodreads. I think it's called First Chapter Fun, and they're split because I think you can only add 100 books, so I think they're split. And you'll find all of the books on there as well. So, you know, you're never going to miss an episode. Hello, Judy. Hi, John. John is the wonderful photographer at Bouchercon. That's where I met John, I think, the first time. He takes brilliant pictures of events like that. It's so much fun. So, enough of me babbling on with all of the ado. Let me introduce you to Laurie. And I know she's watching on Facebook. Such a thrill to read for you, Laurie. It is such an honour because, Laurie, she's basically historical fiction royalty, historical mystery royalty. And once I read you her bio, you'll understand why. So let me do that for you. I'm going to put my glasses on because I'm blind otherwise. So this is Laurie R. King. She is the New York Times best-selling author of 17, that's right, 17 Mary Russell-Sherlock Holmes novels, 5 Kate Martinellis, 2 Stuyvesant-Greys, 5 standalones, and various novellas and anthologies. I thought I was doing well. I'm working on my my 6th book. My 5th one publishes next year. And then I read this bio and I think I'll just go and get my coat. I mean, it's just, that is just so amazing. And hold on, you haven't heard everything yet. Laurie has won the Agatha, Edgar, Lambda, Wolfe, Macavity, Creasey, Dagger and Romantic Times Career Achievement Award, has an honorary doctorate, and is a Baker Street Irregular. So I really do think I'm going to get my coat. Laurie, it is an honour and such a pleasure to read for you today. Thank you very much. And everyone, you can find Laurie. Let me give you all of her details. Dead easy. I keep saying dead easy. It is a murder mystery after all. LaurieRking.com. You'll find her on Facebook and on Instagram and on Twitter as Laurie, that's Laurie King, but also on Twitter she has another fun account which is Mary_Russell, which is of course the character that she created. As always, we read from these books with the permission of the author and their publisher. So that's Penguin Random House and Laurie, of course, too. And it is such an honour. We couldn't do this without, well, we could, but it wouldn't be advised to do this without their permission. It's always just such a pleasure to introduce you or reacquaint you with authors, which is absolutely wonderful. So if you have a question for Laurie, please you can leave a note on Instagram. They do disappear on Instagram, not on Facebook, but they do disappear, dear me. The comments on Instagram disappear once we move it, once we save the video to IGTV. Don't know why, but they just do. But Hank is saying, Laurie is here, I am floating. Yeah, I'm nervous, Hank. I'm reading for Laurie King. I mean, seriously. So if you leave a question for Laurie on Facebook, then she can come back later or answer it now. On Instagram, you'd have to leave it right now. I mean, right now, not right now, but while I'm reading for Laurie to be able to answer it. Ask her a question. How does one write a series with 17 novels? I don't know. My mind boggles with that. It's just absolutely amazing. So let me show you this wonderful cover again. It says a novel of suspense featuring Mary Russell and Sherlock Holmes. And this is Riviera Gold by Laurie R. King. I hope you can see that. I know you can. Yeah, you can see that, can't you? Gorgeous cover. Just so sumptuous. It's absolutely beautiful. And I can't wait to read it for you. So let me read you the introduction and tell you that there is a giveaway for this book. So as always, leave a comment during the reading and Laurie will pick a winner for a copy of this book. Brackets, not affiliated with Instagram or Facebook. All right, let me introduce you and read you the back cover copy of Riviera Gold, which published on June the 9th this year, so you can get your hands on it already. Just don't do it right now. Let me read it to you first, and then do it, obviously. All right, so this is Riviera Gold. Mary Russell and Sherlock Holmes turn the Riviera upside down to crack their most captivating case yet in the New York Times best-selling series that Lee Child called the most sustained feat of imagination in mystery fiction today. If Lee Child said so, you know it's going to be true. It's summertime on the Riviera, and the jazz age has come to France's once sleepy beaches. As American expatriates begin to drift down from Paris, their villas fill with the music and merriment of their generation's most creative minds. But from those ocean-viewed terraces, they also gaze along the coastline at the lights of a more traditional pleasure ground, Monte Carlo, where fortunes are won, lost, stolen, and sometimes hidden away. When Mary Russell and Sherlock Holmes happen across the Côte d'Azur, they find their partnership similarly pulled between youthful pleasures and old sins, hot sun and cool jazz, new affections and enduring loyalties. Russell falls into easy friendship with an enthralling American couple, Sarah and Gerald Murphy, whose golden life on the Riviera has begun to attract famous writers and artists, and some of the scoundrels linked with Monte Carlo's underworld. The Murphy set will go on to inspire everyone from F. Scott Fitzgerald to Pablo Picasso, but in this summer of 1925, their importance for Russell lies in one of their circle's recent additions, none other than the Holmes' former housekeeper, Mrs. Hudson, who hasn't been seen since she fled England under a cloud of false murder accusations. Let me show you the cover again and then I will jump right in. Doesn't that sound amazing? Yes, it sure does. Riviera Gold by Laurie R. King. And this is the prologue. You get a little treat. You get the prologue and chapter 1. Why had I never considered the possibility that an arms dealer might wield actual arms? I'd probably assumed that a man who dealt in deadly munitions was only dangerous in the abstract and large scale, like a battlefield commander incapable of euthanizing the family pet. No. Naturally, a person like this would have a gun to hand, and no ordinary old weapon, but the sleekest, most modern of automatic pistols. Not that the model made any difference at this range, not when it was pointed directly at my heart. A child could not miss. A moment of cold silence washed over me, followed by an absurd tumble of questions. Would it hurt? Yes, it was bound to hurt, but would my mind register the pain, or even the muzzle flash, before flickering out? Did the man have any idea who I was? Could he know that pulling the trigger would bring down the wrath of the British government? Did he have any clue that the young woman before him was wife and partner to none other than Sherlock Holmes? Was he really prepared to ruin this spectacular carpet? And then I wrenched my thoughts away from idiocy and my eyes off the mesmerizing black circle, looking past it into the old monster's dead eyes. I cleared my throat. I wonder if we might have a little talk, preferably before you shoot me. Chapter 1. Clara Hudson, A Conversation. April 1877, London. The warm air smelled of honey. The air outside had been sharp with the usual London stinks of horse dung and coal smoke and rain, making the Duke's townhouse a welcoming refuge. Granted, by the end of the night the pleasure would be reversed, with exhausted footsore dancers stumbling away from the smell of sweat and the stifling miasma of women's perfumes and men's hair oil. But for now, drifting from portico to cloakroom, hallway to the ballroom itself, all was promise and sparkle and the sweet aroma of beeswax candles. Clarissa, whose escort was bent in some confusion over her dance card, caught the apricot colour of silk in a slice of mirror and took a half step forward to admire the dress. It was new and expensive, very à la mode, the result of many hours of poring over sketches with the dressmaker. The fashion for a long, well-corseted torso suited her, and the lightly bustled train at the back emphasised a woman's front in a way that would have been judged indecent just a few years ago. The nakedness of her shoulders, front and back, was both innocent and tantalising, and the curve of her hips would, she had learned, tempt a dance partner's hand into a drift downward as the evening progressed and the golden candles began to gutter and wink out one by one. She reminded herself to be wary of men who had shed their gloves, and not only because of the stains their palms left on silk. Her thoughts were interrupted by a figure in black coming towards her in the looking-glass. She turned, pleased that here was one acquaintance who might turn into a friend, an actual friend, rather than a useful name or camouflage. It helped that she was married, and therefore out of the competition. "Dear thing, I was wondering if you'd come, though how you managed to look so festive and delicious in black, I cannot know." The two exchanged near kisses, and the newcomer shook her head in appreciation of Clarissa's apricot silk. "Speaking of delicious, oh, I do look forward to getting out of mourning and being permitted to dance again." "When you do, the rest of us will have to work twice as hard to be noticed." "That is not something you need to worry about, my dear Miss Hudson. So, what mischief have you got up to since I saw you last?" "Mischief? Me?" The two laughed, and then Clarissa's gentleman claimed his dance, and they were away. The two young women met up again over supper, when Clarissa's favoured partner and the other woman's rather boring husband parked them in seats, presented them with full glasses, then went off to load plates with tempting morsels. Clarissa tried to cool her face with a fan the same colour as her dress. "A night this warm, I'm a bit envious of your getting to sit at the sidelines. My face must be horrid and red." "Just nicely pink. I'm impressed that you haven't yet lost bits of your train to some careless set of shoes." "I was stepped on twice, but neither time fatally." "Trains are not the most practical things for the dance floor. So tell me, before the men come back, is there anyone you're hoping for an introduction to?" Clarissa Hudson eyed her possible would-be friend, wondering just how much the woman knew or had guessed. A married acquaintance could be an asset, since the rules binding a woman's behaviour were relaxed the moment a ring went on. She'd even seen some of them smoking. But this one, married or not, was both new to London and an amateur to the sport of playing men. It was hard to judge how far her amusement would go before it turned suddenly to shock or disdain. Either could be fatal to someone in Clarissa's position. Still, even the most innocent of girls would be forgiven a degree of curiosity towards the opposite sex. After all, wasn't that what the season was for? And she was 20 years old, at the height of her powers when it came to feminine games. I don't suppose you know that tall gentleman with the striking eyes, speaking with the Earl of Shrewsbury? The man was older than they, perhaps 30, and impeccably clothed from his gleaming blonde head to his polished black shoes. There was an air of vitality about him that promised, at the very least, an interesting conversation. Plus, everything about him spoke of money. You mean ZZ? We haven't been formally introduced, but from what I hear, I'm not sure he's someone you need to know. Why ever not? And surely that's not his actual name. No, it's from all the Z's in his name. He's Russian, or was it Greek? How exotic. But why mustn't I meet him? He has some rather dubious antecedents. An embezzlement trial, among other things, a few years ago. He couldn't be too bad of an egg, not if the Duchess invited him. It was the sort of remark a naive young thing would make, but then naive was the role Clarissa Hudson was playing these days. Her friend-to-be gave a little shrug. If you think so, I'm pretty sure my husband knows the Earl. I'll have him bring the two men over for an introduction, once he's finished deciding whether I want salmon mayonnaise or chicken. While the woman in mourning craned her head in hopes of catching her husband's eye, Clara gazed over her fan at the Earl and his companion. Mr. ZZ was really quite good-looking. She was not in the least surprised when he felt her scrutiny and turned those intense, pale eyes on her. But she was surprised at her own reaction. A shiver ran down her spine. Other girls would interpret this as a shiver of delight. Other girls would raise their fans and turn to a nearby friend and giggle, taking that physical reaction as the first sign of love. Clarissa Hudson knew better. Oh, she was well practised at teasing behind a fan, at pretending innocence, at making use of the cloud of nearby girls to tantalise a male. But she also knew that the intensity of that return gaze was a danger sign. Turn away. Easier quarry lay elsewhere. She sat, pinned by those pale and speculative eyes. The stuffy air closed in around her, cloying and heavy, until she forced her hand to reach out for the other woman's arm, to tell her not to bother asking for that introduction. Too late. After that night, Clara Hudson was never quite as fond of the odour of honey. That was the prologue and the first chapter of the brilliant Laurie R. King's Riviera Gold. And if you're not wrapped and enthralled, I don't know what will do it for you. So, wasn't that brilliant? That was just such a treat to read. And I hope you enjoyed listening to it. I see tons and tons of hearts going up, tons and tons of comments. Laurie just says, yeah, well, I am really old. I've been in publishing since, did I see that right? The comment seems to, I can't see it now, 1933? Oh, come on, seriously? Just amazing. Shannon says, I love the cover. Nancy says the same. SM Geist says she's reading and spinning. That is efficient. Oh, Beth asks, this is a great question. Do the books need to be read in order? I should have asked you that, Laurie. If you can pop the answer there, that would be amazing. Hi, Tracy. Tracy Clark is here as well. What You Don't See was the book we read for her a few weeks ago. Rose says, this would be a new series for me. It sounds interesting. Oh, doesn't it just? Amazing. Oh, Laurie already answered that question. Question on whether you need to read in order. So this is for people on Instagram. Mutually debated, in fact, and readers generally agree that it depends on how you prefer to meet characters. There's only one that's actually dependent on the one before, but if you like to watch relationships develop, then yes, start with Beekeeper's Apprentice. There you go. The answer from Laurie R. King herself. absolutely amazing. So many comments. I can't. Oh, Hank says no, I got it wrong. 1993. You see, I thought 33. That couldn't be possible. What was that about? So Laurie says she's been in publishing since 1993. That's absolutely incredible. What a career as well. My phone is. I look like I'm leaning. Jen Jumbar, favourite librarian in Cleveland, says I almost swooned at Bouchercon when Laurie walked by. That is so bad. Laurie says I get that a lot. Must be scarier than I thought, or maybe I just should use a better mouthwash. Ho, ho, ho. That is so funny. Absolutely brilliant. So many wonderful comments. This has been an absolute treat to read Riviera Gold for Laurie and for Laurie to watch. Thank you. I know Laurie had some issues with her internet, but you made it. So, of course, don't forget to leave a comment so that you can be entered into the giveaway for this book today. I hope you had fun, Laurie. I hope I did it justice. It is so nerve-wracking to read. And authors often watch the episodes or go back and watch them later if they can't make it on the day off. And there's always a voice in my head going, don't fluff the lines. Don't fluff the lines. Don't mispronounce it. Because these are the author's words, so you don't want to mess them up. I don't know how audiobook narrators do it. I truly don't. I can muddle my way through a prologue and a chapter by fluffing a few lines, but that's about it. All right. So Riviera Gold, show you that cover once again by Laurie R. King, which you can get your hands on right now, and you do not have to read the series in order. And let me tell you now what we're going to be reading on Tuesday. Completely different. In fact, I think this is the first time in the history of First Chapter Fun that we are reading a fantasy book. This is The Blade Bone by Asma Zenat Khan, and I cannot wait to read this to you. I've been practicing this one, the pronunciation of certain words, because of course when it's fantasies, places and stuff are made up. So I actually asked Asma, I said, how do you pronounce these? More lines for me to fluff. So this is what we will be reading from, and I cannot wait to introduce you. I've said this before when we read for authors and we introduce them and we get their bios. You know, we might know of them or know a little bit about them, and sometimes we don't know much. And I had met Asma, I haven't met Laurie, but it's always so exciting to read the bios, because my goodness, like I said, I should go and get my coat and just wait until we introduce you to Asma on Thursday. So today's read, Riviera Gold by Laurie R. King, and on Tuesday it will be The Blade Bone by Asma Zenat Khan. So that's what we have in store for you. So thank you very, very much for tuning in. Thank you, as always, for watching First Chapter Fun. We will be here. Next week is also American Thanksgiving. We will still be here at 12:30 p.m. both on Tuesday and on Thursday, and we hope that we'll see you then. So thanks again very, very much for watching, and until then, please, everyone, stay safe and stay kind, and we'll see you on Tuesday. Thank you for watching.